And our second main topic today is submitted to us from Omar94, who writes, Paul Rudd's been announced to star in Jason Reitman's Ghostbusters 3. Thoughts? I like Paul Rudd, but overall, I'm still mixed on the film. Jason Reitman's a great director, yet he's never done blockbuster filmmaking, but I'll keep an open mind. I really like Ghostbusters 1, and Ghostbusters 2 was okay in my opinion. Thanks, and have a good day. All right, so for those of you who maybe haven't heard about this yet, there is a new Ghostbusters movie that is in continuity with Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2, and the one that they did with Melissa McCarthy a few years ago has kind of been swept away, so that's gone. Now they're going back to the original timeline, all that kind of stuff. In a poetic, beautiful move, the original film's director, Ivan Reitman, his son, Jason Reitman, is going to be directing this thing, which I think is marvelous, by the way, because they got my attention right away. I am a major fan of Jason Reitman. Good Canadian kid, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. He has done several, very quietly, amassed an amazing resume with several, awards contending films and stuff like that. Like everything from films like Juno, which is still one of my favorite films just to sit down, plop down and put on the screen. I just love Juno. Thank You for Smoking, which I actually might think is his best film. I love Thank You for Smoking. I think it's crazy funny the way they approach it. Up in the Air was brilliant. Tully was very quietly one of the better films of last year. Tully was actually really, really good. And then what was that one he did was also with Charlize Theron, adulting or becoming an adult or something like that. Was really, Jason Reitman makes funny, interesting, character-centric films that I actually really enjoy. And to see him come on and do a Ghostbusters, following in the footsteps of his father who directed the originals, I think it's great. Now, everybody knows I am a big Paul Rudd fan. To me, Paul Rudd can simply do no wrong. Yeah. Whether it was in, what was that teenage comedy he was in? Clueless? Was it Clueless?
Yeah, it was Clueless.
Clueless. Whether it's Clueless or his, by the way, his recurring role in Parks and Rec, amazing. I loved him in that. I love this guy in everything. He's just, whether it's Anchorman or 40-Year-Old Virgin or Ant-Man. I love him as Ant-Man.
Or This Is 40.
Or adding him to a project like this, I think is great. Look, I always say adding talent is always a good move. It's always a good move to add talent. He's one of the best. I love this guy. I was already excited for this Ghostbusters project. I'm even more so now. So that's how I'm saying about this. Aaron, you hear about this. Number one, what do you think about them, just even the Ghostbusters project in general, but then the addition of a Paul Rudd?
I mean, Ghostbusters is a film that it's iconic in so many ways for so many people. And I think reintroducing that to a new audience, a younger audience, is always a great idea if you have someone like Jason Reitman behind it, because ultimately, I'm not looking for a blockbuster director who's going to be able to do lots of explosions and create more big walking marshmallows. What I'm interested in is a director who is going to be able to tell story and to create a relationship between characters that I get emotionally invested in. Then, regardless of whatever else is going on, I care about these people and I want to see them win at the end of the day. Now, as far as Paul Rudd is concerned, I agree with you. I think that anyone who does not love Paul Rudd doesn't have a soul, because how could you not? He's great in everything. And I actually saw him, I went to opening night of a play that he did on Broadway with Michael Shannon in 2012 called Grace. And if I didn't already know that he was a talented actor for what I'd seen on screen, watching him do what he did on stage in front of a live audience blew my mind and forever solidified me as a Paul Rudd fan. I think that he is going to be great, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, he is fantastic. And by the way, going back to that one point you brought up in your message there, Omar, about, he's never really done blockbuster filmmaking. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters about his director is, can he tell a good story? That's it. That's it. I remember, you guys have heard me tell this story before, but that one time, you guys remember we did the Guardians of the Galaxy special that I did, and I had Kevin Feige and James Gunn and Chris Pratt there. And I asked, because I was already a big fan of James Gunn because of Slither and things like that, but I asked Kevin Feige, I said, it's a different thing making a Slither or these small budget things. What made you confident in a James Gunn to come in and do this huge blockbuster thing? And Kevin Feige said straight up, it doesn't matter if a film's budget is $10 million or $10 million. If a guy knows how to tell a story, or a girl, then they know how to tell a story.
Yeah,
if
look at Patty Jenkins.
If a director can tell a story, they can tell a story. And did you say look at Patty Jenkins?
Yeah,
I mean, from Monster going into like
absolutely, and that's the thing is that as a director, when you say, well, they've never done a blockbuster, every single director who's ever done a blockbuster, right before they did their first blockbuster, they were a director who'd never done a blockbuster. And Patty Jenkins, I think, went into Wonder Woman. There was a lot of skepticism. I think.
Oh,
I mean,
not from me. That's the reason I had.
Well,
any
not
faith.
from you.
That's
because
the reason
you
I had
are,
any faith was because of her.
Because you are an exceptional human being who was also
traffic-stoppingly
attractive.
Yes.
But there was a lot of pushback, and I think that she definitely proved a lot of people wrong. So if someone, like we said, if someone has an ability to tell a story, then regardless of the budget, I think that that's going to translate.
Right. And then we get a X-Men Dark Phoenix where we had a director who's never directed a blockbuster, but he's also never directed anything before that, and that's a different story. But I've got
I don't even understand how that happens.
Yeah, neither did I. We've talked about that so much. Anyway, what do you guys think about this? The addition of Paul Rudd to Ghostbusters. I think it's a great move. Jump down in the comment section below and let me know what you guys think. All right. With that down, let's move on.